The smell of a fresh loaf, still warm, drifting out of the corner bakery before the sun was even fully up. The clink of coins landing on a diner counter, paying for a full breakfast without a second thought. The crackle of a paper grocery bag being folded shut at the kitchen table, packed full for the week ahead. These small, ordinary sounds and smells belonged to a single dollar bill in 1955, and that same dollar bought things that would take 20 of today's dollars just to come close. Once you hear the full list, it will feel almost impossible, like something made up just to shock you. But every single one of these is real. Here are 10 things $1 could buy an American family in 1955. Subscribe before we start, because you are going to want to see every one of these. This list is not here just to look at old prices and feel surprised for a moment. It is here to prove something bigger. There was a time in this country when a single dollar bill carried real weight, when one piece of paper could cover a meal, a haircut, an afternoon out, or a week of small comforts most families never had to think twice about. That dollar was not stretched thin. It did real work, counting up from the smallest surprise to the biggest one. Here are 10 things a single dollar could buy an American family in 1955. Starting with something most people today spend $5 or $6 on without even blinking. Number 1, a loaf of bread, a quart of milk, and a dozen eggs, all together. In 1955, a loaf of bread ran about 18 cents, a quart of milk cost around 22 cents, and a dozen eggs came in at roughly 60 cents. Add them all together, and a mother could walk out of the corner store with 3 basic staples for well under $1, sometimes with a few pennies still left in her hand. Today, that same short list can run past $12 at most grocery stores. Back then, it barely touched a single bill. Number 2, a full breakfast at a diner counter. A plate of eggs, bacon, toast, and a hot cup of coffee at a local diner cost around 35 to 50 cents in 1955. A working man could sit down before his shift, eat a full hot meal, and still walk out with change jingling in his pocket. There was no need to check a price on a menu twice. Today, a similar plate at a diner can easily run past $15, coffee not included. Number 3, a trip to the movies, ticket, and popcorn. A movie ticket in 1955 cost about 40 cents for an adult, and a bag of popcorn added another dime on top. That means a full afternoon at the theater, sitting in the dark with a fresh bag of popcorn on your lap, cost less than a single dollar bill. A teenager could cover the whole outing with money earned from one small chore. Today, a ticket alone can run past $15, and the popcorn costs almost as much as the movie itself once did. 3 items in, and notice what they share: bread, milk, and eggs, a hot breakfast, a whole afternoon at the movies, every single one covered by pocket change, not a careful budget or a second thought. In 1955, the average American worker earned about $1.60 an hour, and a full week of groceries for a family of 4 came out to around $25. That means a single hour of work could cover a full breakfast out and still leave enough for the movies afterward. Today, an hour of minimum wage work barely covers a coffee and a bus ride home. Back then, $1 was not something you stretched carefully across a week. It was something that actually finished the job with a little left over to spare. Number 4, a full tank of gas for a small car. Gas in 1955 cost around 23 cents a gallon, and most small cars back then had tanks that held around 10 gallons. That means a full fill-up came out to somewhere close to $2. But for a smaller car with a modest tank, a single dollar could still cover close to half a tank, sometimes more, depending on the model. A young man could drive to work, drive his girl to the drive-in, and still have gas left in the tank the next morning. Today, a single dollar would barely buy you a quarter gallon at most pumps. Moving from the gas pump to the barber's chair, number 5, a haircut at the barber shop, tip included. A standard haircut in 1955 cost about 50 cents, and a generous tip on top of that might add another dime or 15 cents. A man could walk in, needing a trim, walk out looking sharp, and still have change jingling in his pocket from a single dollar bill. Today, a basic haircut alone can run past $30 before the tip is even added. And from the barber shop to the corner store. Number 6, a comic book, a candy bar, and a soda with change left over. A comic book ran about a dime, a candy bar cost a nickel, and a bottle of soda added another nickel on top. A kid could walk in with a single quarter and walk out with all three, still holding on to most of his dollar for later in the week. Today, that same small stack of treats can run past $10 combined, comic books included. Halfway there, and the prices keep getting harder to picture. Number 7, a month's worth of a daily newspaper subscription. In 1955, a daily paper delivered right to the front porch cost about 3 cents an issue, which meant a full month of news, sports, and comics came out to less than a single dollar. A father could read the morning headlines with his coffee every single day for weeks, all covered by one bill folded in his wallet. Today, a single digital subscription alone can run past $20 a month, and that is before you even count a printed copy. Number 8, a pound of coffee, enough to last a family 2 weeks. A pound of ground coffee in 1955 cost around 75 cents at most grocery stores, and for the average household, that pound stretched across 2 full weeks of morning cups. A single dollar bill could cover the coffee and still leave enough change for a small treat on the side. Today, a single bag of coffee that size can easily run past $12, with far less left over once you get to the register. Here is the part worth sitting with. In 1955, the federal minimum wage sat at 75 cents an hour. Less than 1 hour of work covered breakfast, a haircut, and a comic book with candy on the side. This was never really about cheap prices. Prices always shift with time. What actually changed is how far 1 hour of honest labor could stretch. Back then, a single hour on the clock covered real pieces of daily life. Today, that same hour barely covers a coffee, no matter how hard someone works for it. Number 9, a full tank of heating oil for a week in winter. In 1955, heating oil cost around 10 to 12 cents a gallon, and a modest home could stay warm for a full week on just a few gallons. That meant a single dollar bill could cover roughly a week of warmth for the whole family during the coldest months, with a little left over besides. Today, that same week of heat can run past $40 or $50, depending on the size of the house and the season. And now, the biggest surprise of all, number 10, a brand new pair of shoes for a child with a nickel back. In 1955, a solid pair of children's shoes at a local shop cost about 95 cents. A mother could walk in, buy her child a brand new pair, sturdy enough to last through a full school year, and still walk out with a single nickel in her hand. Not a hand-me-down, not a patched-up pair from an older sibling. Brand new, for less than $1. Try walking into any shoe store today and finding a single pair, new or used, for anywhere close to that price. Somewhere back in 1955, that same warm loaf is still cooling on the bakery counter. Coins are still clinking down for a full breakfast, and a grocery bag is still being folded shut for the week ahead. All of it, and so much more, once fit inside a single dollar bill. Bread and milk and eggs, a hot meal, a movie, a haircut, a coffee, a pair of new shoes for a child, all covered without a second thought. That is what $1 used to mean in this country. So tell us, what do you remember a dollar buying you? Drop it in the comments below. And if you liked this, you will love our video on what $20 could buy you in 1958 America.